Alright, what's going on, you fam? Raiyuden here. This isn't something that I do often, or actually I don't think I've done this at all, but I figure maybe it's worth doing a tier list video. There are two main reasons why I don't really do these. One of them is it's just my own opinion, who really cares about my own opinion, and two, I feel like the community for this game has an issue with respectfully disagreeing with people. We have a tendency of saying that, oh, if you don't agree with my opinion, you're just wrong and dumb. Don't be like that when I make this tier list. This is just me sharing my own experiences, and it really is just a snapshot at this point in time how the meta looks like to me and my experiences of when I play. So if you do disagree, let me know in the comment section below, but you know, provide your reasoning and be respectful about it, because it is fun to have discussion around units, but it's not a lot of fun to be called a moron for not agreeing. So let's go right into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the number one and go down the list. I think it's pretty obvious what the top 5 are. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. Alright, for our top spot, numero uno, we're gonna go with Ultra Gogeta Blue. I don't think this comes as any sort of surprise. This guy stands with the best of them right when the match begins, but as time goes on and you enter the midpoint of the match and the late game, he pulls further and further away from every other unit. The extra damage inflicted, the extra key recovery, the additional card draw speed. Gogeta becomes, to quote Toshi, a new level of power. Absolutely unstoppable. He has so much sustained damage put into his kit in terms of canceling it. His unique gauge is probably one of the best defensive measures we have in the game right now. Being able to just almost power creep blast cards in a way where you cannot freely use them against them, but if you do, this guy is able to, once the unique gauge is filled out, kill a Dragon Ball, kill all your strike cards, and if you use that blast card, he's going to be able to stop you dead in your tracks and hit you with a blue card that hits pretty damn hard. Gogeta's blue card, it's no surprise that this thing comes out and basically one-shots your opponent. But that's not even all of it. Gogeta being able to restore his Vanish when he pops a Rush and nullify Endurance has drastically changed the meta. It's basically overwhelmingly RNG heavy right now, where a lot of it rides on Gogeta killing somebody with the Rush. A lot of Endurance units that had a lot of value, in my opinion, have lost some of their value simply because of his anti-endurance Rising Rush mechanic. So number one, Gogeta. No surprise at all. This dude is a juggernaut. Alright, so for number two, this shouldn't be any surprise either. It's going to go straight to Beast Gohan. This guy was number one until another monster came out of the woodwork and took his spot. This guy has the best early game out of any unit. This includes Ultra Gogeta Blue. With his unique gauge, this guy has level 2 card draw speed, has anti-cover change. His blue card is still really hard hitting, and he's able to go type neutral. Green card able to restore his Vanish, and obviously including the blue card as well. Main ability with the minus 100% sustained damage cut. There's no surprise that this character is number 2, and there's no surprise that you often see this guy just doing 1v3s constantly. He has it all in his kit. He is a monster in his own right. It's just crazy how it took another monster to overtake this guy. And you can honestly still make the argument for Beast Gohan being better than Ultra Gogeta Blue if you really wanted to. Sometimes the early game really does solidify the entirety of the match, and if this guy has the best early game, then doesn't that logically mean he's better? I don't know. That's up to you. He is a monster in his own right, having the conditional endurance. Now, obviously, it's not as high value, the endurance, given that Gogeta exists, but it's still something within his arsenal that makes you have to hold back on popping it right away should you not have Gogeta. He obviously has access to some of the best equips in the game because the game has a huge hybrid Saiyan bias, but there you go. Number 2, in my opinion, Beast Gohan. And number 3 goes to the Tag 4s. This also shouldn't be a surprise either. The Tag 4s have tremendous flow. They work so darn well together. The blue card constantly restoring their Vanish means that they can keep staying on the field, making awesome plays. Their green card, killing one of your Dragon Balls and then gaining one of their own, getting priority again. Switching over to the Vegeta side, having type advantage over purple units, but more importantly, having super low cost, very high key recovery, and the very high card draw speed translates to him basically overlooking a lot of the disrupt units that we have within this game, aka Pan and Zamasu, that are intended to shut down your combos. Low cost cards paired alongside high key recovery and card draw speed translates to them just saying, how about, nah, I don't want you to stop my combo, I'm just going to keep going. They are monsters in their own right as well. They can make a lot of stunning plays. They're able to come back constantly. The constant Vanish Restore, the constant abundance of blue cards, the game-changing green card. There's no surprise that these guys are in the number 3 spot. And just like Beast Gohan with Ultra Gogeta Blue, you really could make the argument that the Tag 4s are superior to Beast Gohan as of right now, given that they're still within the boost. It really is how you see it. So number 3, Tag 4s. Alright, now number 4 is going to go to Super Saiyan 4 Goku. See what I did there?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
This character had a bit of a zero to hero moment where on his initial release he wasn't the most impressive character in the world. Super flashy LF though, but he got a platinum equipment soon after, giving him some additional defenses and offenses, which improved him drastically. But then he got a Zenkai Awakening that provided him the tech that he really needed to shine, the final piece of the puzzle. The ability to have anti-cover change when you lose an ally, paired alongside restoring Vanish with his green card, essentially excelled or translated this character. It's almost like he got a rebirth. He really became a standout character. It does help that he's also a bit of a support character. Your opponent swaps out to a different ally, to a different character, and you get the additional 15% damage inflicted for your team. And let's be realistic here. We have such a cover change heavy meta that you're bound to see a lot of cover changes. So pairing this guy with some really good drop combos really powers up your entire team as well. But this guy in his own right is a powerhouse. The platinum equipment, the Zenkai stats, the new tech that he got his hands on. I feel like his green card should have done the Restore Vanish out the gate, but hey, at least we got it at some point. So number 4, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now number 5 and onward I feel are where more subjective opinions can come in, how you value your individual characters. Number 5 for me is going to go to the Zamasu. This guy came alongside the Vegeta Trunks LF, and to everyone's surprise, the 1% character sort of outshines the LF as of right now. This guy is a really good disrupt character. He's able to gradually become stronger as the fight goes on. Constantly restoring health means that he's able to sustain himself a little bit better. Really good reduced damage received. But his main ability, and more noteworthy, his green card can make some game-changing plays for you. He's able to get not only cover null, but to put a total stop to a lot of strike-based cards in the game. So tap attacks, quick attacks, blue cards he's able to translate into a clash instead are pretty important and very game changing for the character. Once he falls below 50% HP, he's also able to double up as a support character, giving your allies, I believe, 20% damage inflicted, which is very valuable. 20% goes a long way, but it's just his ability to sustain himself, to disrupt your opponent, and make some game-changing plays, and eventually translate to a really good damage dealer that make him really noteworthy. The cherry on top really is the shorten of the sub count as your allies take damage, because we're in a really rush-heavy meta, very RNG, and it's nice to have at least this guy be the guy that takes the rush. It does stink that there's a lot of anti-endurance now, aka Ultra Gogeta Blue, when he uses the rush, so his endurance doesn't have the most tremendous amount of value now. It's a little bit less, but just the fact that he's able to come in and be the guy that takes the rush so that your damage dealing allies are still alive is very valuable. So number 5 goes to good old Zamasu. And number 6 is going to go to none other than Pan. Pan was released alongside the Beast Gohan, and she is pretty much the perfect partner for the character. The ability to reduce the substitution count, being able to go type neutral with her card draw speed, but more importantly, her key reduction. She's absolutely game-changing for the early game, which can often translate to you basically winning the match. Her disrupt shuts down combos, which stops your opponent from farming that rush early on. And in my opinion, I think her reduction to crit rate was like the final nail in the coffin for a lot of Super Saiyan teams, just because minus 30% is drastic. You're pretty much already at a disadvantage running Bardock, but once you have that crit rate and crit damage squandered, yeah, let's just say it's probably not worth using anymore. She's able to constantly stack up the damage inflicted as she gets more and more swaps. She's able to provide the health restoration, of course, as well. And her green card is able to reduce sub count so you can bring in those important allies to defend her when it matters the most. So number 6 goes to Pan. Now, number 7 is going to go to none other than Ultra Super Vegito. This guy felt like one of the few characters that could genuinely tank within the game. He's able to heal 10% of his HP 7 times, I believe, which is very valuable in terms of sustaining himself. But even though he's labeled a defense type unit, the guy is very powerful as well. He's able to do what feels like infinite combos, constantly debuffing your team, and more importantly, being able to restore his Vanish with the main ability and having one of the hardest hitting ults in the game really makes him an intimidating opponent at this point in time, especially with the number 1 character in the game being a purple unit. Now, you could argue the very long combos can be a tad bit tricky given that we have so many cover change units, but his unique gauge really pulls through in that front in that he's able to get anti-cover change and pretty much go to town. 10 timer counts worth of anti-cover change with this kind of character is quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and give number 7 to Ultra Super Vegito. Number 8 is going to go to none other than probably the best aging unit in the game, LF Future Gohan. This guy, when he came out, his kit was fabulous, and it aged as time went on, just got better and better. He's able to support, he's able to disrupt, the card destruction. Obviously, his endurance was a very high value point for him as part of his kit. Not the highest anymore at this point, because like I said, so much anti-endurance in the form of a rush, and Ultra Gogeta Blue basically doesn't care about type disadvantage anymore. But that was in point in time one of his trademark aspects. This guy, he's able to do it all. He was a jack of all trades, master of pretty much everything. He was able to do some pretty good damage. His platinum equipment certainly helps him in terms of tanking and dealing damage as well. So an overall well-rounded fighter. He can do it all. The card draw speed, his ultimate hurts really badly. The disrupt on blast cards, the card destruction, you know, cover change, all in all, Beast Gohan. Future Gohan is a beast, so I'm going to give him the number 8 spot. Number 9 is going to have to go to none other than the Ultra Broly. This guy was also a behemoth in terms of the defensive front. His unique gauge certainly helped him be the defensive unit he's supposed to be. Universal cover change, chainable with blue cards. He was able to get a monstrous amount of key recovery, which paired pretty damn well with the level 2 card draw speed he could get the longer he was on the field. He's able to constantly heal himself every time he swaps in. I think it's like 10% of his HP, but his unique gauge is also able to heal him up so he can keep tanking all the attacks that your opponent is going to be dishing out. Broly really was a true defensive unit. He was labeled one, and he really felt like it. The guy just kept coming back for getting more and more beatings, and when it mattered most, he's able to turn into a true offensive unit as well. He has very high damage inflicted, but the level 2 card draw speed and key recovery pretty much paired perfectly for a unit that can combo for quite a while. His ultimate hurt really hard, and if you're very lucky and you got the feint, it could be the win or lose moment for the battle. So number 9 is definitely going to go to Ultra Broly. Part of the reason why he doesn't have the highest on this tier list is poor guy is an Ultra Purple character for the movie Saga team, and you're probably going to be going with Ultra Gogeta anyways. That's why he lost a couple points. Now, the number 10 spot, this is going to be super controversial. I already know it. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Tapion for a couple of reasons. Number 1, I still think he's a really good support. 2, he can work up to doing some pretty good damage. But number 3, there's some quirks into his kit that can help him counter out against Gogeta Blue that other units can't really do. The most noteworthy one is he's able to transform all of his blast cards into strike. He's able to get level 2 card draw speed, but more importantly, he's also able to get his hands on cover null, which is pretty important because, you know, pairing the type advantage with all of those different things basically puts Gogeta Blue right in his tracks. Your opponent almost feels like they have to switch out to somebody else, which means you can then use your cover null characters to deal with Ultra Gogeta Blue a lot better. Being able to provide an additional card with a lot of the very devastating characters that the movie Saga team has means that there's a lot of value in the support that he's able to bring. He's also able to seal up blue cards when he uses these strike cards. So if you are in a situation where you don't have a green card with Tapion, you just use a strike card, then use the blast card, and yeah, Gogeta's going to counter you, but he can't hit you with the blue card, which was otherwise the big issue with his unique gauge. So you deplete the unique gauge and Gogeta can't do anything to you. You're able to then work your way back up to using blast cards again, and then just making sure that you don't use a blast card once the unique gauge fills out again. And Like I said before, a super rush heavy meta, and Tapion's able to reduce his sub count by 10. Oftentimes your opponent wants to use the rush with the Ultra Gogeta Blue, and with Tapion having type advantage and him able to do death damage, a sea of damage to the entire team, he can put in some last little bits of work that is pretty important. I think the Harudagon damage that he does when he dies against Ultra Gogeta Blue is pretty good, and with it being distributed to the entire enemy team, I think that there's a lot of quirks in his kit that makes it pretty valuable in this meta. But again, this is just my own opinion. If you don't feel the same way, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, number 10, Tapion. I think he gained a lot of value in this meta with Gogeta Blue's rise to excellence. So there are still some noteworthy honorable mentions that I did want to include that I feel others might feel are worth being within the top 10 that I also do agree with, but again, this is just my own opinion. Number 1 being Ultra Super Gogeta. Of course, this guy has aged beautifully well as an Ultra. This guy has a fantastic kit. Part of the reason why he's not part of the top 10 for me is just because people would rather run Beast Gohan over Ultra Gogeta, unfortunately. In terms of he has a superior early game, he just has more in his kit that makes him far more devastating and game-changing as of right now, and he's just the designated blue on the Movie Saga team, which you see the most right now. He just pairs beautifully well with Pan, and Pan's a really good disruptor, so unfortunately Gogeta is not ran as much on the Movie Saga team. Now this also includes Cooler as well. Cooler, that guy's kit, in terms of being able to lock in your opponent with that strike card, can still make some game-changing plays. He still is, there's nothing about his kit that has changed. He's still very, very broken in his own right. The only reason why he's not part of the top 10 is, again, the number 2 unit shut him down hard, very, very hard. And the Movie Saga team right now, you don't really see, it's not always just going to be Future Gohan, Pan, and Beast Gohan. You're going to see a lot of variations with Gogeta Blue in there as well. So Cooler unfortunately loses the ability to go type neutral. He needs to fight another Super Saiyan character. That's why he's not part of the top 10. And number 3, Vegeta and Trunks. LF Vegeta and Trunks. Yes, I agree that they're a really good character, very good unit. The only reason why they're not seen here is for 2 things. 1, they need a blast focused team right now in order to truly shine, which unfortunately they do not have. And number 2, Ultra Gogeta Blue and the way that he deals with blast cards hurts pretty much every blast based team. It does hurt. You can proc it for sure. I still think Vegeta and Trunks have really good disrupt. You know, you go below 50% HP, you're able to kill all their cards, do a ton of work against their ability to do combos, and them able to restore their vanish. And like, I get it, Vegeta and Trunks are good. The only reason why they're not seen here is just because they're held back by the teams that are available to them, and Gogeta's just shut down a blast cards hurts them a ton. So that gimmick of Trunks using a blast card that turns into another blast card, or the Vegeta side using blast cards to really power up their damage inflicted, has been hurt severely just because of this character. That's going to be my top 10 list. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys agree or disagree. This is just how I feel in the meta with the characters that I use and face, and this is what I think is going to be the top 10. And as a quick recap, number 1 is Ultra Gogeta Blue, number 2 is Beast Gohan, number 3 is the LF Tag 4s. You know, number 2 and 3 can be swapped, and number 1 and 2 can be swapped as well. Number 4 is going to be LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Number 5 is going to be the 1% blue Sparking Zamasu. Number 6 is going to be Pan. Number 7 is Ultra Super Vegito. Number 8 is going to be the LF Future Gohan, the Timeless unit. Number 9 is going to be Ultra Broly. And number 10 is going to go to Tapion. So let me know in the comment section below how you feel about the list and your reasoning, if I'm wrong or if you do agree. But until next time, peace.